Debout là-bas, Cash. Debout, joue.
Total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck.
Jean-Philippe Mateta, Nathaniel Klein, Daichi Kamada, Adam Wharton, Borna Sosa, Chadi Riyad, Walter Benitez, the spare goalkeeper, and Justin Devaney. As for Newcastle United, their boss Eddie Howe, he also rung the changes as well, recalled 6 players from the damaging Tyne-Wear loss to Sunderland 3 weeks ago. Tino Livramento, Malik Cho, Lewis Miley, Sandro Tonali, Jacob Murphy and William Asula all return. So the Toon Army line up like this. 4-3-3 formation, Aaron Ramsdale in goal. A back four of Livramento, Tio, Botman and Hall. Miley, Joe Linton and Tonali make up the midfield. Murphy and Gordon on the wings, Will Asula as the lone striker. On the bench then for the Magpies, Nick Pope, Kieran Trippier, Johan Wisser, Harvey Barnes, Anthony Alanga, Nick Voltemada, Joe Willock, Dan Byrne and Jacob Ramsey. Kick-off for this clash between Crystal Palace and Newcastle United is 2 p.m. Welcome to this afternoon's Premier League action clash from Selhurst Park. We'll bring you independent off-tube studio-based commentary as Palace host Newcastle United. And a vital game for either of these two sides. Palace want to get a little bit more form in the Premier League. Try and push further up the table. Newcastle with an outside chance of still reaching the European spots, of course. They need to practically win most games to get it to the top 7. I think a Champions League position is out of their reach, but with a Conference League position in 7th, it certainly isn't as they look to go forward. Palace in their traditional red and blue striped shirts, blue shorts and blue socks. Newcastle in their change kit of green shirts, green shorts and white socks. Palace kicking from left to right as the ball is hooked in as Chow gets that ball away. And he moves that ball towards the halfway line. And you see Sven Botman there with a mask on his face, having picked up a knock. It was a broken cheekbone against Sunderland 3 weeks ago. Their time-wear defeat to Sunderland. How chastening that loss was, having took the lead as well and conceded twice. Joe Linton then with a ball forward looking for Gordon. And now it's back there to Botman, who finds Lewis Hall, who wants to get himself on the plane to the US for England in the summer. And he's got a good chance, of course, as his colleague over the far side, Tino Livramento. Here's a possession ball forward. That's a good exchange of passes. Pino trying to get in there for Palace. Strand Larsen, of course, who was a target for the Tuin Army in the summer. Didn't quite pan out. There's Will Hughes, though, for Palace. Knocks that ball back across to Maxime Lacroix. And they go across then to the left-hand side. And the ball swept to Munoz, the Colombian fullback. Socks down by his ankles, yellow boots. Back to Chris Richards, the American international. Jefferson Lerma, the holding midfield player for Palace. And Palace a push back along the way back to Lacroix, who in turn finds his compatriot Canvo. The ball is knocked into touch there by Strand Larsen. It'll be a throw for Newcastle. Other games taking place in the Premier League this afternoon. Nottingham Forest against Aston Villa and Sunderland against Tottenham. As Roberto De Zerbi starts a new era for Spurs yet again. Chelsea take on Manchester City at 4:30, of course. And this will be a goal kick for Newcastle. I'll keep an eye on the scores elsewhere for you, as we see these two sides do battle. Newcastle won 2-0 at St James's Park earlier on in the season. Referee today is Anley Madley, I should say. There's a play on the left-hand side with Canvo. Feeds it to Tyreek Mitchell, who's looking at left-hand side. Back to Lacroix. And the two defenders exchange passes under pressure there from Lewis Miley. There's a little touch there by Jeremy Pino, the Spaniard. As Jacob Murphy tries to come forward. Here's Will Hughes, the former Derby man. Moves that ball to the left-hand side. Finds Pino. He's got Johnson in the middle. Tyreek Mitchell alongside him. Here's Lerma. He goes backwards to him. Square ball then to Chris Richards. As Newcastle get back in numbers defensively. Here's Munoz. Back to Richards again. And Palace playing from right to left. Here's Lacroix. Canvo. Canvo looks to see where Mitchell is, but he's being tightly marked by Livramento. There's a ball forward there by Lacroix. Straight to Strand Larsen now for Lerma. Palace enjoying a lot of the ball at the moment. Newcastle just happy to sit back. Lacroix finds Mitchell, front of the dugouts. On the far side is Canvo again, back to Henderson, and Crystal Palace will have to start again as they defeated Fiorentina 3-0 the UEFA Conference League only the other night, and only one loss in their last 4 Premier League fixtures. And that game at Old Trafford, during 0 at home to Leeds United the last time out. Ball back now to Ramsdale. There's a long clearance by Henderson. 2 England goalkeepers coming up together. Both of these two will be hoping to be on the plane to America. The number 1 spot, of course, is with Pickford of Everton. But Henderson and Ramsdale certainly have an opportunity to go alongside him. Back Ramsdale, of course, on loan from Southampton, who are pushing to make the playoffs in the EFL Championship. Ball down the line. Here's Joelinton. Ball into the middle then, looking for Murphy, but picked up there by Willasula. A good driving run by the former Sheffield United man, but well watched there defensively at the back by JD Canvo. And that ball goes all the way forward up to Aaron Ramsdale in all yellow. He finds Malik Chow, the German defender. 6 minutes gone, 0-0. There's Lewis Hall. Back there to Sven Botman, say sporting this mask across his face. And picks up that fractured jaw or cheekbone. There's the ball back there with Richards. Long over the far side, little header knockwards. We'll play inside. Here is Hughes. Cross comes in from Munoz, Joelinton. Hall. Here's the ball played to the far side. Here's play on the outside possession. A good little turn then by Pino. Pino switches to the right hand side to find Munoz. Good positive start this by Palace. Will Hughes, left footed ball into the box, sweeping into the area. There's no Palace player to get, and it goes straight into the hands of Aaron Ramsdale. He moves that ball inside. There's good work from Asula. Hall. Inside pass there to Miley. Little turn. Good forward movement there by Murphy. Livramento. Hall down the left hand side now finds Gordon, who cuts inside in front of Munoz. Gordon goes down, gets clattered down to the ground by Munoz. It will be a free kick for Newcastle. Yeah, strong challenge there, wasn't it? On Gordon, another player who should make the England play, Anthony Gordon. Some positive runs from him. Play on the left hand side. Here's Tonali. Hall, cross comes in, knocked down, volleyed away. Headed by Tonali. Tonali again inside, looking to get Richards, who clears towards the halfway line. 0-0. Running up to 10 minutes gone in this game. Play to the right. The ball back with Sven Botman. Botman again. Now to the right hand side, not back to Malik Chow. Down to Ramsdale. Hall. Some help down the left hand side. He's got Botman with him. He knocks it first time, but Richards is almost there. Lerma clears. Into touch, and it'll be a throw then for Newcastle United. First check on the other scores. No goals so far in either of the two Premier League fixtures. Nottingham Forest 0, Aston Villa 0, Sunderland 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. There's the play down the right. Ball being pushed into a corner by Munoz. Botman clears down the channel over the top of Asula. Lewis Hall gets fouled by Munoz. Free kick for Newcastle. Lewis Hall, former Chelsea defender. To take his time, buying his time to get into the side, but played down the right hand side, ball hooked away over the shoulder through to Dean Henderson, not forward. Dean Henderson always got into a mix up there, Lacroix, as he was trying to roll that ball out. Long ball forward, looking for Ramsdale. And with Tonali. Tonali again, ball played over the top, knocked away. Here's Murphy. Good work then by Miley. Ball inside to Tonali. Slipped by Murphy on the right to Miley. Now Murphy on the right. Right foot across, comes in near post, looking for Joe Linton. Good clearance by Lacroix. Corner kick then to Newcastle, the first of this game. Newcastle making 6 changes for this encounter from that loss to Sunderland. They've made a positive start as well then. Dangerous ball that came in. Now back. Palace secured that, managed to clear that ball away. All the way up towards the halfway line. There's Hall and Miley. Cleared away up towards the halfway line. Not forward again, Joe Linton's there. Ball, short ball there across to the left hand side. It's Canvo. Lerma trying to get the ball to Mitchell, but it's a foul by Mitchell then on Murphy over that far side. It will be a free kick then for Newcastle in front of that old main stand at Sellers Park, a ground I've not been to. Mind ticking that one off at some point. Knock back there to Ramsdale. Across to Hall. Hall goes forward. Hall moves it down the line, looking for Asula. Asula then turns, and that's a challenge that comes in, but Joe Linton trying to get there, but Munoz as well to win possession from him. Stride down the right, but there's Hall to get there first. Sorry, Botman to get there first. Ball played down the line again, Joe Linton. In front of Lerma, little flick from Hall trying to find Joe Linton, but Will Hughes gets there first, and game's gone ever so scrappy in the middle of the park. Joe Linton in a challenge with Lerma. Referee says play on. There's Botman, the Dutch defender. Ball across to the right hand side. Tonali. Back now for Botman. Botman waits. Ball over the top, header forward by Miley. Trying to get the ball back from Asula. It was a handball off the knee onto the hand of Asula there. Asula just complaining, not happy. Back to the right hand side. To touch. The ball backwards again. Need to try and drive it. Here's Hughes. Played through the middle and it's blocked. Here's Asula. Back there to the right side. Tonali. It's deflected almost towards Gordon. He tried to get the path, but it's deflected away straight into the hands of Henderson. 0-0. Newcastle's flaky form sees them with 2 wins out their last 3, but that damaging defeat to Sunderland really hurt them, I'd say. It's been 3 weeks since the game though, so maybe they're going to get over it and try and push for a European place. I know that the UEFA Conference League is not the target that the owners want, but being consistent in Europe every season should be first and foremost. Depending on the tournament, of course, the more money is in the Champions League, naturally, but Palace are enjoying a time at the moment in the Conference League, beating Fiorentina 3-0 the other night. They're looking to reach the final. Should they win the Conference League, of course, that's a passport through to the Europa League. Ball played back again. Here's Asula. Long ball over the top. It's going to go straight through to Henderson. Play down the right, cross comes in, blocked. Work from Miley. There's the ball back there to Ramsdale. Moves that ball to the left now. And Botman. Ball from Hall on the far side. The man back Lacroix to Henderson, across to Canvo. Lerma. The ball goes into touch there from Canvo. It will be a throw for Newcastle. Ball down the line. There's a foul, was it there? On Strand Larsen by Chiao? I think so. Hall to Gordon. He cuts inside from the left. Switches play to the right hand side now to Livramento. Livramento forward past to Lewis Miley. Miley, such a tall, rangy midfielder, youngster, wins his side of throw. It's going to be a throw over the far side. It's going to be Livramento. He goes into the area. Knock away. Headed back in by Tonali. Botman deflects us almost into the path there of Asula. Now Livramento, right foot across, near post, not a great one. Hooked away by Strand Larsen up towards the halfway line. Ramsdale will feed it to Livramento on the halfway line, and he knocks it down the channel for Murphy, but Murphy loses out to Mitchell. Strand Larsen does well to hold the ball up. Now Hughes drives forward, looks for some options. One of those is Lerma. Now Mitchell, back to Lerma again. Lerma waits, holds that ball up. Lerma back to Mitchell. Mitchell inside then for Pino. Good work then from Tonali to knock the ball away from him. There's Miley. Miley knocks it then for Tonali. Back to the right hand side. There's a long ball over the top looking for a Sula. Richards to Munoz. Daniel Munoz to Richards again. That's a long ball forward. And that's going to go into touch. It will be a throw. Now Lewis Hall. Feed that ball back to Ramsdale. Now to Chow. Sula, good sweeping move that Murphy finds Gordon. He's got Joe Linton to his left hand side. Gordon comes forward, trying to take it on his own. Gordon's strike is blocked. Joe Linton's free. Gordon trying to win it back in front of her possession with Brennan Johnson, and he does well, but Gordon then a little bit greedy. So Linton made the forward run on the left hand side. Here's Munoz for Palace on the right. On ball forward. Still no goals in all the 3 Premier League kickoffs at 2 p.m. Obviously 0-0 in this game. Forest 0, Aston Villa 0, and Sunderland 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Kickoff for Chelsea and Manchester City, which you can find on this service, kicks off at 4:30. Manchester City hoping for victory to claw back some points on Arsenal, who suffered a loss yesterday to Bournemouth. Brennan Johnson's been kicked on the ankle here, so treatment required midway through this first half at Selhurst Park. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary. It's Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 0. And let's talk about our first goal in the Premier League fixtures, as Forest have gone a goal down to Aston Villa. And that's encounter. Let's see who's the goal scorer there. It is a Murillo own goal. So both sets of supporters pay tribute to memory of Crystal Palace fan Rory Wilder, who sadly died at the age of just 18. That was a good applause for him. Well, there's going to be a change here, but as it stands right now, Johnson's just walking off. He's going to be okay. Ball switched across then to Botman. Now back again to Botman. Gives it to Lewis Hall. Hall then down the left hand side. Back to Gordon. He cuts inside. Short little pass to Joe Linton. Back to Lewis Hall. Neat little triangle that on the left. Hall inside for Tonali. He sweeps that ball to the right hand side. Finds Livramento. For the cross comes in, it's blocked. Little knock forward, deflected. There's going to be a throw again for Newcastle. Lewis Miley's going to take it. No, Livramento's going to take it, my apologies. And it comes now. Little flick on then. Headed away by Johnson. Back now by Tonali. Palace win it back through Mitchell. And it's a long ball forward. And there's Livramento to mop up at the back and knock it back to Ramsdale, who will move that ball to the left for Botman. Crystal Palace have just won of their last 10 against the Magpies at home. Won 3 and drawn 6. They'll be quite happy with that so far. ball forward then, looking to get it through, volleyed away by Henderson outside his penalty area. Johnson to Hughes. Joe Linton fouls him. It will be a free kick. Frustration, I'm sure, for the Brazilian. Andy Madley then issuing some instructions. Ball back with Henderson. It's a long ball forward over the halfway line. Volleyed away there by Malik Chow. Headed forward by Lacroix. Foul there by Botman. Was there on Johnson? Yeah, I think it is. He caught the back of his head as well. It'll be a free kick for Crystal Palace. So free kick here from the right. Played into the area, so well, connect to it. Did anybody from Palace coming into the box at the back post? Decent delivery from Jeremy. It's a bit more commitment from the Palace players then, rushing in. That was a decent delivery from the Spaniard. Whipped in. It's Botman. Is that to the right? And play forward again. Now play on the left-hand side with the Palace coming forward. Oliver Glassen's not happy there with the linesman. This play then with Livramento has been caught there. Strong challenge on the forward. Mitchell it was with the challenge. Blocked. Now back with Ramsdale. Way to the back side then. Move that ball down the line for Hall. All inside then. Good work. Here's Tonali striding forward. Back now for Joelinton. There's Lewis Hall. Feeds it to the right hand side. Back to Hall again. Botman. Switches play to the right. Botman there. Joelinton, yard in from the touchline, goes back to Botman. Newcastle enjoying lots of possession with no real pizzazz or attacking intent. Unlike them, you'd imagine them at home to be a bit more aggressive. I don't see why they're in control of the game at the moment in time. Palace, who started well, have drifted into defending a lot more now. But Newcastle don't seem to have the zip they have usually at St James's Park. Maybe that's why they're a little bit more conservative today. Here's Asula down the left. It's a block. And a battle then with Mitchell. Asula goes down under a challenge. Here's Livramento. Hits Chio. It's going to be a throw for Newcastle. Gordon to take. It back, finds Tonali. Tonali again. That ball to the right. There's Botman. Across then to Hall. Botman again. Now to Hall. All strides forward. Down the line. Nice. The block then. It's going to go forward. Play to the right hand side. Good block there to the right. Goes into touch. Here's Livramento. Just a one corner so far. Newcastle's favour. Look at the scores elsewhere. Still the goal advantage to Villa at the City Ground. Forest 0, Villa 1. And at Stadium of Light it's Sunderland 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Reminder then at 4:30 Chelsea take on Manchester City. 0-0 is it in this encounter, if I can get my words out. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary. Malik Cho at the back, moves that ball to the right to Livramento. Now Botman. Botman left-footed drive across to the right, and that was looking for Miley, but ball drilled into touch. Applause from Oliver Glasner, but must be frustration for Eddie Howe. Miley. Just side a free kick. There's Botman. Captain's armband on. Although, looks like Murphy's actually the captain today. Henderson the captain for Crystal Palace. All over the top, little twist and turn. There's that ball to the left. Here's Johnson. Johnson switched to the left now. Right foot a strike. Curly shot saved by Ramsdale. Here's Munoz. Saved by Ramsdale again. Brilliant double save there by Aaron Ramsdale. Great work from him. Initial was from Pino. Diving to his right, Ramsdale, then Munoz. Oh, Pino's effort. Ramsdale, brilliant save, low down. And Munoz on the follow-up. Knocked forward, loops up, palmed away. And, yeah. Good work then from Aaron Ramsdale. Going why he's in Thomas Tuchel's thoughts. There's the ball back there with Botman. Goes across to Hall. Oh, the ball given away there. Here's Strand Larsen. Looking for Pino. Oh, good step in from Malik Chow. The ball's going to go into touch, and it will be it's a corner kick that I felt it was. He Wasn't that convincing, Malik Chow. So unfortunately, I'm afraid it's going to be a corner kick then for the home side with less than 10 minutes to go before the break. It's like Jeremy Pino to take it. Johnson's in there, Strand Larson, Lacroix, Richards. Munoz hanging out the outside. Pino's delivery comes in. Oh, Ramsdale was caught in no man's land. It was Canvo with a header over the bar. Ramsdale just flapping at nothing then. Nobody picked up Canvo and his header went over the bar. So another bit of good spell there for Palace. Got too much of a head onto it really. Just needed a glance. He's trying to arc his head backwards towards goal. It's gone over the bar. In effort, didn't need to hit it that hard with his head. Now Ramsdale, long ball over the halfway line. At the top of Lerma. And now Hughes, he hooks that ball away. Nod forward by Murphy. Canvo's header goes behind him. There's Hall. Tonali. Now Hall again. That's blocked. And it will be a throw for Newcastle just down the line. Gordon to take. He needs some options though. Now Tonali. Just across to the right hand side for Malik Chow. Ball forward though, blocked, and here comes Lerma to Strand Larson. Hughes now, and there's a driving run here from Crystal Palace. Hughes has possession, finds Munoz to take on Lewis Hall. He opts to go backwards though and find Will Hughes again. Now swept across to Canvo. Canvo will find Henderson. Lorma, left foot cross comes in, beats everybody. Munoz is in there, but coming in away from Gordon. There's a clash of heads, it looks like. No, Munoz is okay. I think ball's still down. The cross that came in from the left hand side. Hall's down at the moment. Picked up a knock. Munoz in a challenge with him. A knock to the head. Going to be okay. At his shoulder it looks like, Lewis Hall. Good decent cross that came in, beat everybody, deflected. And Hall got underneath Munoz and Munoz seemed to land on him. But it's going to be okay. So an arm in the back of the head and then a face plant by Hall initially. Clearance to the right. Ball over the top there. It's going to go into touch away from Asula. One each now at Nottingham Forest. We'll look and see who's grabbed the equaliser. Nico Williams. Nico Williams with the goal for Forest. 1-1 there in that game. Forest 1, Aston Villa 1, the two Midlands rivals. East meets West. We'll play forward again. Here's Munoz for Palace, finds Jeremy Pino. Pino back to Hughes. Sweeps that ball across to Lerma. Short little pass for Lacroix. Now Richards. Richards to the right. Finds Munoz. Munoz is knocked forward. It's going to go straight through, is it? No. Jock it out of play by Malik Chow, German defender. And it will be a goal kick to Newcastle. So it's a long ball to the right, just Ramsdale. Well, he loses possession in the middle of the park. Foul by Munoz. Quickly taken free kick. Ball sweeps across the left hand side for Anthony Gordon to take on Munoz. Keeps it in play just. Now jockeys Munoz towards the penalty area. He's in there now. Short little ball to Hall. Square ball across everybody in green shirt. And cleared away by Palace, but Newcastle win it back through Livramento. Now for Chiao, for Botman. Botman down the left for Gordon. Gordon scoops that ball over the top looking for Joelinton. Joelinton then waits. Goes back to Botman and to Chiao. Ball to the right hand side is blocked. There's a little touch again. Tonali, Sandro Tonali. Short little pass inside for Murphy. Great ball comes in, looking for Asula, and he scores. And he breaks the deadlock here. Will Asula. The flag is going to be I think they're going to look in whether it's going to be onside for Will Asula. It's another goal for him. The cross that came in from the right hand side was an excellent ball. Will Asula just stabbing home to give Newcastle the lead. And after Palace's best opportunities, it was Tonali who got there. Tonali's little back in Livramento's cross, and Asula on the slide got away from Lacroix. No, it was Miley's cross. Came off Lacroix to the feet of Asula. Miley's cross. Lacroix should have dealt with it. It's gone underneath his boot. There was Asula who had already committed with his right boot, but managed to loop the ball past Henderson with his left boot to give his side the lead. And it's Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Will Asula with the goal, justifying his start in the side. Fine little goal that for Will Asula. Back to Richards. Striding forward is Gordon. Gordon finds Asula. Little spring in his step now. Taking on Lacroix. Asula waits, goes back there to Gordon. Playing at the right hand side. There's Will Hughes. Well, back there. Just as Palace started to take control of this first half and have opportunities that opened up Newcastle, Palace pushed forward. Newcastle able to pick them off, and here's Jacob Murphy turning onto his right boot, trying to drive into the area, but a little bit greedy there. It's going to be cleared away. Here's Hall. Finds Tonali. Hall again. Hall reaches almost to half time. There'll be 2 additional minutes. We've already had a minute of that so far. Let's play with Joelinton. Goes square to Tonali. Tonali feeds it to Murphy. Murphy back to Malik Chow. Chow across to Botman. Newcastle just playing percentages, keeping hold of possession. frustrating Palace, and that's a foul by Munoz. That's his third foul of this first half, this time on Gordon. He pushes him over. All eyes on the referee. Now to blow the whistle for half-time. They look a despondent unit. Oliver Glasner now on the bench there, looking for ideas from his colleagues. Not getting them yet. Still 1-1 at the City Ground. Forest 1, Villa 1, and 0-0 between Sunderland and Spurs as we edge towards half-time. Here's Tonali on the right. Tonali turns, looks like he's going to get a shot away. No, moves it to the right for Murphy. Milers across him. Murphy's left footed strike blocked, volleyed away by Will Hughes. Now here's Hall. Edge of the penalty area. Hall keeps going. Foot in by Munoz. Throw then for Newcastle. Really, Aaron Ramsdale allowed Newcastle to take the lead with a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz. Play now down the right with Livramento, who finds Asula. Edge of the penalty area. Oh, good little block, but a good challenge there by Lacroix on Munoz, on Basala rather. It's a free kick for Newcastle. We've had the 2 minutes, so this will be the last action of the first period, you'd say. Blatant foul by Lacroix on Asula, who's caused them all sorts of problems this afternoon. So corner kick then, sorry, free kick for Newcastle. And they don't look in a rush to take it, that's for certain. Two-man wall, Joe Linton goes across with Tonali. Taking Murphy. And this will be the last action of the first half, this free kick if we can get it taken. Let's see what comes of it. Goes in the near post, easy gather there for Dean Henderson. That is half-time at Selhurst Park. Frustrating one for Crystal Palace. They've played well in periods, certainly the first 10 minutes. And Aaron Ramsdale blocking a double save from Pino and Munoz on 35. Sort of opened the game up a little bit. Palace sniffing blood, but they went down, a goal down from across from Miley and stabbed home by Will Asula to make it 1-0. And frustration then at Selhurst Park. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary at the break here. It's Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Join us in 15 minutes. Half-time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half. But 8 minutes later, Newcastle took the lead across from Miley. Deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half. But 8 minutes later, Newcastle took the lead across from Miley. Deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half. But 8 minutes later, Newcastle took the lead across from Miley. Deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1. Half time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Newcastle have to thank Aaron Ramsdale for a brilliant double save from Pino and Munoz in the same movement. Around 10 minutes to go of this first half, but 8 minutes later Newcastle took the lead. A cross from Miley, deflected away by Lacroix into the path of Asula, and Will Asula stabbed home past Henderson. Not been a great first half, but Newcastle lead. Palace 0, Newcastle 1.
Well, welcome back to our coverage of this Premier League fixture between Crystal Palace and Newcastle United. These two sides battling out. Newcastle lead though. Will Asula's goal on 43 minutes separates the two sides at this moment in time. Newcastle building from the left hand side in their green kit, their change kit this afternoon. Green shirts, green shorts, white socks. And Crystal Palace in their traditional red and blue stripes, blue shorts and blue socks, kicking from right to left. Through the sides for you. In goal for Crystal Palace, Henderson. Back three of Richards, Lacroix, Canvo, Munoz, Law, Lerma, Hughes and Mitchell, Johnson, Pino and Strand Larson. And wake up the 11 for Palace. No changes at the break, I don't think. Ramsdale in goal for Newcastle. Livramento, Chow, Botman, Hall, Miley, Joe Linton, Tonali, Murphy, Asula, Gordon. The three then for Newcastle. 1-1 between Forest and Aston Villa. 0-0 between Sunderland and Spurs. Keep his eye on those fixtures for you. Here's possession then with Livramento. And chance now for Strand Larsen's right footed strike. It hits the back of Botman. Cries of handball from the Palace players. Seemed to hit his hand more, hit his back, but I'm sure VAR will have a check. We can have a look now, I think. See whether that was the correct decision. Sven Botman there. Let's have a look. The shot came in from Strand Larsen. It hit him on the shorts, I think. Don't think it hit his hand at all, no. Big shouts, but no. Everything fine. 2.5 minutes into this second half then. Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary. Here's Botman to Hall. Deep inside his own half. Little ball switch over the top as Newcastle kick from left to right. Their supporters in the corner of the stand. Here's Mitchell. Comes to Lacroix. Now to Richards. Ball towards the halfway line. And Jakob Strand Larsen, the former Wolves striker. Throw in then for Hall, finds Joe Linton. Joe Linton then knocks the ball back to Malik Chow, who finds Livramento as the sun comes out at South London. Knocked down the channel there for Jacob Murphy. Murphy with Canvo alongside him. Helping out is Lerma. Two men in straight away. Lerma gets in front of Murphy. And then a shove over. That's a throw, I think, for Crystal Palace. Whatever they did there, they worked it well. Mitchell with the throw then. There's going to be some redevelopments of Selhurst Park in the next near future. The main stand certainly needs looking at. The rest of the ground is quite tidy. All hemmed in though in South London, Clapham. There's the Henderson then with this ball. Long ball over the halfway line. Headed away by Chow. Lerma. Back now for Richards. Oh, Richards left it. Oh, here's Asula breaking through on goal. Chance to have a strike. Turns onto his right, back onto his left. Good save by Henderson. It hits the quad. It's a corner kick. Mistake there by Richards. Allowed Asula to go through. When the younger striker there, who grabbed the goal in the first half, very nearly made it 2. Poor back pass. Richards then switching off the American defender. Good save by Henderson initially, and well watched by the French defender Lacroix to knock it out for a corner kick. Good feet then from Asula as well, and again good feet from Henderson to clear it with his legs. Great opportunity there for Newcastle to make it 2-1. Corner kick comes in near post, cleared away by Munoz. Livramento back out to Tonali. Right foot across deep to the back post. Too deep. Had a play for a goal kick. Well, Asula's caused a few problems. Having his goal so far. Scored against Manchester United, wasn't it? The other month. Fine goal as well. It was 2, coming in from the right. Scored with his left boot. Here's Yeremy Pino in the battle with Tonali. Tonali holds that ball out to foul by Lerma on Tonali. It will be a free kick Newcastle's way. Andy Madley saying, that's yeah, I spotted that's a couple of occasions there. Mitchell and Lerma, 2 players on him, on Tonali. So a free kick. Tonali then. It's Newcastle supporters getting behind their side. Long way to come on a Sunday. Many of them setting off early doors to South London. Here's Tonali. Forward pass, headed away. There's a little knock inside for Livramento to try and find Malik Chow. It's a pushover on Munoz. And it will be a free kick for Crystal Palace deep inside their own half. And it remains Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary. Dean Henderson, England international, with the ball across to Canvo. Play forward again. Well, good defence work there by Livramento. So knock the ball into touch. Palace have following their 2-0 win at St James's Park in January. Newcastle looking to complete the Premier League double, their first Premier League double over Crystal Palace. For the first time since 2013-14 season. There's a header forward there by Canvo. Can't find a teammate though. Here's Anthony Gordon, surprisingly quiet in the first half. He's got Lewis Hall alongside him. Ball knocked into touch by Richards. It's out of play for a throw. Fixtures coming up in the Premier League. Monday night game against Manchester United against Leeds United at Old Trafford. Could be a crack of that. And then next Saturday we'll host the features from 12:30. These two sides don't play until Newcastle play Bournemouth on Saturday at 3 o'clock. Palace don't play till the Monday. London derby against West Ham, both at home. Stand-out fixture though next Sunday, Everton against Liverpool at 2 o'clock. Should I say stand-out fixtures, because Manchester City hosts Arsenal next Sunday as well at 4:30. So a big day of football there. Livramento strides forward, tries to play in Murphy down the right, but it's too heavy, goes into touch, and it will be a goal kick to Crystal Palace. 10 minutes into this second half, and the scorelines remain Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1, Nottingham Forest 1, Aston Villa 1, Sunderland 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Remember, on this service at 4:30 you can find Chelsea against Manchester City, independent off-tube studio-based commentary. Joe Linton gets a foot in there. It will be a throw for Crystal Palace, just in front of the Newcastle supporters. If you've been to Sellers Park, you'll know where they are. Right in the corner. Here's Tonali, finds Gordon. Tries to knock the ball past his man. Joe Linton then loses out. Here's driving forward is Brennan Johnson. Oh, good challenge there from Malik Chow. Timed it well and knocks the ball across, but gives it to Hughes. That's a poor ball. Here's Lerma. To the right is Munoz. Back to Lerma again. Pino's down, holding his shoulder. Now with Canvo. He doesn't know where to go though, and he has to go backwards to Lacroix. In turn finds Richards. Lacroix's been taken out there by Asula. Feeling the side of his head, Lacroix. And he wins his side a free kick. Asula just catching him. A little flick forward, and it's going to go through almost then to Pino. But Ramsdale was there to launch the ball away and knock it into touch. In fact, the offside flag was up, so the flag was up, so nothing to do or see there. Still remains Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. So the action areas have been in the Palace half right now, so Newcastle searching for a second goal to kill the game, you'd think. Ramsdale with possession, wearing all yellow, knocks a long ball over the halfway line. It's going to go straight through to Dean Henderson. He's wearing, I think, like a shale grey goalkeeper's kit. My eyes deceive me. Could be all black. Long ball forward over the halfway line. Header into touch zone. It'll be a throw for Palace. Newcastle have lost just one of their last 9 Premier League games against Crystal Palace. 1-4 drawn 4, keeping a clean sheet in 6 of the last 8 against the Eagles. Looking to extend that run then today. There's a throw then for Livramento to take on the halfway line. Throw down the line looking for Joelinton. I was trying to try forward is Tonali. It's good work then on the right. So possession lost almost to Gordon. Munoz managed to clear, but only as far as Joelinton. Now Gordon on the left-hand side, inside pass looking for Joelinton, but well watched by Richard to clear. There's Miley, back to Gordon again. Now for Miley. The 2 Englishmen combine. Little touch from Gordon, inside for Miley again. Frees Livramento. Only allows the ball to go across him. That's poor from Tino Livramento. It's going to be a clearance away by Palace, and they look to stretch Newcastle here. Is Jefferson Lerma's play sort of comes to a little bit of a halt. Yeremy Lima. Pino then goes inside to find Jefferson Lerma. Munoz, Lerma again, cross comes in, it hits Tonali. Corner kick to Palace, their first of this second half. Just 2 corners each so far in the game as we push towards the hour mark. Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Corner kick then to Crystal Palace. Newcastle get back in numbers. Palace looking to equalise here. Try and grab a point. Left-footed delivery from Will Hughes into the back post, well gathered by Ramsdale. Really, really good from him as he rolls the ball out now for Livramento to stride forward down the right. Cutting across his Lerma. He now finds Murphy. Murphy cuts back, but there is Yeremy Pina. Cannons, I'm sure they came off Murphy last. Jean-Philippe Mateta is going to come on for Crystal Palace in a few moments' time, I presume, to replace Jorgen Strand Larsen. Livramento. Ball played away by Palace defensively. Man down for Newcastle as Livramento has been caught in the small of his back. Free kick, foul by Yeremy Pino. So free kick here then for Newcastle. Tonali, Murphy and Hall look interested. So left-footed free kick. We launch into the area. No, right-footed by Tonali. Double bluff. Headed away by Lacroix. There's Lewis Miley to pick up the loose ball on the far side. Inside now to Livramento. Back now to Hall. Hall finds Livramento. Everybody trying to get back into shape again. Livramento keeps hold of it. Moves it inside then for Gordon. Finds Joelinton. Bringing it back to their ordinary positions. Here's Tonali picking up the ball on the right-hand side. Finds Murphy. Murphy goes short for Tonali. Tonali back to Murphy again. He beats his marker. Right foot across. Blocked. Good defending there by Canvo. Newcastle trying to win it back, and they do through Tonali. Short little pass and trying to find Miley, but Palace win it back and it's cleared away. There's a header away. Volleyed away there by Pino. Now, striding down the right-hand side is Daniel Munoz, but he's up against Anthony Gordon. Not an easy task, so he cuts back and waits and finds Hughes. Switches across to the left-hand side. Again, it's brought forward. Cross comes in by Mitchell. Chance for Jeremy Pino. Scoops that one over the bar. Disappointing effort in the end. JD Canvo with a lovely pass for Mitchell. Left foot across. Pino just disappointed everybody, trying to claim it as a corner. So yeah, never going to try and trouble Aaron Ramsdale on that occasion. Over the bar. Ball back to Lacroix. Here's Canvo. Oh, lovely ball, finds Strand Larsen. Strand Larsen taking on Malik Chow into the area, and a good work from the German defender. Finds Livramento going forward. And Livramento then in turn will try and get between two, but he can't. There's a ball back there to Hughes. Across to Lacroix, who finds Munoz. Munoz back. And Palace enjoy a spell with the ball. Here's Hughes again. Strides it across to Canvo. Now Mitchell. Canvo shaping up for a shot. Has to go across. Heavy ball from Hughes. Trying to get to Munoz on the right. But that sails out of play for a goal kick. Triple change here for Palace. Jean-Philippe Mateta being one of the players coming on. Also coming on is Ismail Assar. And it looks like the next substitution will be Adam Wharton, I think. But off go, yeah, Adam Wharton's definitely on. Off go Brennan Johnson and Will Hughes. And Strand Larsen goes off as well. So Jean-Philippe Mateta. He comes on. Also comes on is Adam Wharton to replace Will Hughes. And also coming on, whose name I can't remember now, is Ismail Assar. That's it. Ex-Watford striker. And he'll just join just behind Mateta. And he's now played to the right. All the way back to Ramsdale, who launches that ball over the halfway line. Going to go straight through to Henderson, that though. 25 minutes to go. Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. 43rd minute goal by Will Asula, separating the two sides. Asula, of course, just his second Premier League start. And he's got 3 goals so far. Play down the right side, blocked. Clearance away by Hall. There's a volley down the right. Finds Murphy. Back to Livramento. Played back. It's cannons into foul by Munoz on Gordon. Miley. played back again. Switched across to the right. Finds Lacroix. Richards to Munoz. Back to Richards again. Very workmanlike performance this by Palace, but they need to score a goal because they're 1 goal down at the moment. Thanks to Willasula's goal in the first half. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary. Let's have a look at the other scores. Sunderland have taken the lead against Tottenham. Tottenham, of course, dropped into the bottom 3 on Friday night. And Sunderland scoring there. It's not going to do them the world of good, is it? A goal by Nordi Mukeli gives the Mackhams the leads. A foul on Mateta. Somebody's got a yellow card. Yeah, looks like Malik Chow has picked up a yellow card. His 4th this season. Jeremy Pino. Ball to the right hand side, right footed delivery into the area. Oh, header hits the crossbar, smacked against the bar. It was Pino's delivery, and I think it was Canvoy, is it, with the header against the crossbar? It might even be Sarr. There's a collision here between Lewis Hall and a Palace player I can't see. Now it's Jefferson Lerma with the powerful head against the crossbar. What a delivery from Pino. And Lerma's header smacked against the crossbar. Paul and Munoz, I think it was, at a collision. Wow, wait, what a header. Newcastle get away with one on 70 minutes. Fine header it was too. Hall and Munoz with a collision of knees. Both going to be down at the moment. It's the closest that Crystal Palace have come. Jefferson Lerma. 20 minutes to go then. Hall just still receiving some treatment down on the ground. Lerma looks at the ground and says, how did I miss that? How did that header miss the back of the net? Incredible reflexes there. So substitutions here for Newcastle. Harvey Barnes is coming on. Probably replace Anthony Gordon maybe, or Jacob Murphy. Murphy's been, yeah, Anthony Gordon's going off. Not been his day today. So Harvey Barnes comes on. Barnes on for Gordon, 20 minutes to go. Jacob Murphy's probably going to get the full 90. So there is one clearance by Ramsdale. Forward, a little knockdown by Pino. Canvo gives the ball away almost to Barnes there on the left-hand side. Richards is ball down the left Well watched by Joelinton. Get through for a green shirt. Asula does well to hold the ball, but Wharton beats him too. But Wharton's in fact fouled Asula. Wharton saying, I got the ball. Asula's still down. Foul, yes, it was a foul. Frustration, I'm sure, for Wharton. Free kick for Newcastle. So free kick here, taken by Tonali. Ball into the air, a little knockdown there by Botman. Knocked forward by Murphy. Headed away by Lerma. As far as Botman has the strike, it's blocked. Lewis Hall will pick up the loose ball down the left-hand side. He's got to wait back into the middle for Barnes. Now for Tonali. Tonali knocks it forward into the area, headed away by Richards. There's Asula. Murphy. Headed away. Is Murphy down the right looking for Miley. Well stepped across there was defender Canvo. JD Canvo knocks it down the channel, but only as far as Tonali. Now Newcastle come again, but now Crystal Palace win it back. Collision then up with Joelinton. This is a free kick for Mateta's hurt. Joelinton's will pick up a yellow card here for a foul. Let's have a look at this one again. Sarr goes forward, finds Mateta, but he's hacked to the ground by Joelinton. Don't think the Brazilian can argue too much. He didn't win any of the ball. It's a yellow card from yellow card 10th this season. He'll have a 2-match ban against Bournemouth and Arsenal now. Driving forward is Sarr, heavy touch from him. Trying to move it to his left, foot in then by Hall. Not a penalty. Kicked fresh air did Ismaila Sarr. Sarr that, yeah, just that heavy touch before. Mateta was at the back post. Sarr just ran out of room then, didn't he? Over an hour to go. The foul's flying in at the moment. Munoz again with another foul. Daniel Munoz is lucky not to pick up a yellow card. There's been a few ones that he's gone in on. Now there's been another substitution for Palace. Coming on is Jeremy Pino, I think. Yeah, to be replaced by Daichi Kamada, Japanese player. On he comes. Free kick here for Newcastle. Tonali takes forward pass, not great. Ball in, headed away by Canvo. And down the left is Hall. Still want that second goal in Newcastle just to kill the tie. Ball back to Ramsdale. There's a long ball over the halfway line. Sula's trying to get there. The ball cannons off the Newcastle head into touch. It'll be a throw for Crystal Palace as we eke time away. We've got perhaps around 12 minutes to go. Eddie Howe wanted to win desperately to to forget about that time where Derby defeat. Foul there on Tyreek Mitchell, is it? No, on Canvo. Who was it that caught him? Asula, I think it was, as Canvo went to clear. Canned into the boot of Asula. So most wins by managers in Premier League history. Eddie Howe's on 82. He'll join Kevin Keegan and Sir Bobby Robson. Left hand side, little flick finds Joe Linton. Joe Linton ball inside, finds Lewis Hall. Little flick forward, and Anthony Barnes down the left. Harvey Barnes, sorry, trying to get the crossings cleared away. I think Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes mixed up there. Here's Tonali, back to Joe Linton. Barnes to Hall. Barnes again. And he runs out of room, wins his side of throw though. Hall tripped up, did he? Trying to drive forward. Hall and Jefferson Lerma have a bit of a talking to. Referee Andy Madley. Hall will take this throw. Left hand side, cross comes in, volleyed away. Second chance for Barnes. Ball going to be cleared away. It'll be a corner kick to Newcastle. Stacking up now, Wharton, it came off last. So corner kick here for Sandro Tonali to take, right-footed delivery, and it comes into the area, headed away by Mateta. Back out by Wharton. Murphy picks up the loose ball, but gives it straight to Munoz. Munoz's long ball over the top. Hall's trying to get there in front of Kamada, and he does. Clears it away, all the way up towards Henderson. Good defending that, he got Murphy off the hook there. Pass into the middle, there's Lerma to Mateta. Lerma again, the halfway line. Sweeps that across to Daniel Munoz. It holds up in the wind, but Munoz knocks it back to Richards. And Palace have to build from the back here. It's Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 1. Independent, off-tube, studio-based commentary into the final 10. Here's driving run there by Canvo. Kamada. Munoz with the cross, too heavy. Brought down by Mitchell. Chance for a strike. Goes square. Header comes in from Mateta. I think it's an own goal. It might have come off Cho, but Mateta's claiming it. An equaliser for Crystal Palace. He kicks the corner flag, and Jean-Philippe Mateta on as a substitute. Looks to have got Crystal Palace level inside 10 to go. Instinctively Palace then turning up the afterburners. There was a cross that came in from Munoz. Everybody beat it. Mitchell then put the ball back into play. And Mateta there first to make it 1-1. Mitchell brought it under control, squared that ball, headed from Mateta. Yeah, I think it's not touched, it's gone past Tio on the line. Not great defending, I have to say, from Newcastle. But Mateta's got the goal. Crystal Palace 1, Newcastle United 1. Fine work, it was Botman actually trying to stop the ball on the line. It's definitely a goal to Jean-Philippe Mateta. It's 1-1. So, intriguing encounter. Here's Barnes over the far side. What have Newcastle got in response? Joe Linton loses out. Or is it Palace now to take it forward? Lewis Hall loses possession. Sarr to Wharton, back to Richards. Sellers Park is lifted by this now. Here's Henderson, long ball forward. Looking for Mateta. It's a header by Botman, finds Hall. To Tonali. 'Cause 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 'C Kamada allows the ball to go across him, but he keeps hold of possession on the halfway line. Mitchell's there free. And Kamada wins his side. He just knocks it into touch. It'll be a Newcastle throw. Substitutions coming on here for Newcastle. Jacob Ramsey is one, and also Nick Voltemade. Down the line, Linton there, little flick away. Great work there from Livramento to feed the ball to Joelinton. Paul comes forward. Pass inside there for Barnes. There for Asula, but Richards gets ahead of him. Richards does well, but then loses up to Barnes almost, but feeds the ball to Lip. 4 minutes to go, sorry. Here's play down the right. Ismail Assar, right foot across to the back post. Kamada can't get there. Better from Palace. Where's this been for most of the game? Incredible stuff. Assar it is with the cross. 1-1. Voltemade and Jacob Ramsey are coming on. Coming off is Joelinton for Jacob Ramsey, because I presume that Jacob Ramsey will have to play in that position for 2 games at least. I've also got Will Asula going off, replaced by Nick Voltemade. His scoring record was good at the start of the season, but he's struggled a little bit in recent weeks. Voltemade. Livramento with the throw. There's Livramento, finds Botman. Sweeps that ball across. And Voltemade's only got 1 goal since February. Before that, he went on a poor run. Back 2 against Chelsea in December. Just 1 goal this year. He hasn't scored in his last 7 Newcastle appearances. Do with the goal then. But he's only got 5 minutes to get it. Foul by Tonali on Mateta. Now Mitchell, played inside Wharton. Now Tonali again, he's having his shirt pulled there by Lerm. A free kick for Newcastle. Ball to the left. Play inside then for Miley. Newcastle seem to be poised to keep this point really. Ramsdale's chipped forward. Voltemade's header can't find a green shirt. It's Miley to Ramsey. Ramsey looks up, moves that ball down the left-hand side. Good ball. Here's Barnes striding into the penalty area. Square ball away from Voltemade. Miley will pick up the loose ball, moves it to the right now for Livramento. Barnes at his best moving forward then, but the ball was just too much ahead of Voltamada. Malik Chow. Short little pass for Ramsey, trying to move it to the right there to pick up play on the right with Murphy. Murphy short little pass for Miley. Back to Murphy again. Murphy waits, trying a little turn, gets to the byline. Cleared away by Wharton. He finds Kamada. Inside to Mateta, but he gives it straight to Miley. Now for Botman. Here's Hall. He's got Barnes to his left, finds him now. Harvey Barnes, edge of the penalty area. Looks up, short little pass trying to find Hall, but Palace win it. Newcastle are given the ball straight back by Palace. And now with Malik Chow to Botman. Hall. Barnes. Barnes back to Chow. Inside pass, looking for Voltamada. Free kick then for Crystal Palace. 90 seconds of normal time to go. No other changes in the scoreline so far. Still Forest 1, Villa 1. Sunderland 1, Tottenham 0. And we're coming up at 4:30 on this service. Chelsea against Manchester City. Stay with us. Here's Ramsey. Finds Barnes. Hall. Short little pass then for Ramsey again, who cuts in from the left. Ramsey keeps going. Needs a bit of help and support here though. Moves that ball to the right now for Livramento. Newcastle leaving it late here. Forward ball from Livramento. Cross from Murphy to the back post. Looking for Voltamada, headed by Richards, goes back to goalkeeper Henderson. Voltamada again on the stretch, trying to grab the winner for Newcastle. Ball rolled out. Richards' has long ball forward. And we'll flick forward Miley. There's Barnes. Taking on Munoz. Left-footed cross is a good one over the top of Miley. Flicked on headed by Kamada, looking for Mateta. Moving across his Botman. Mateta's there. Holds that ball up. Looks it into Tarley. It's into touch. It's going to be a Palace throw. And we're into stoppage time, of which there'll be approximately 5 additional minutes. Ball back to Mitchell. Clearance away by Mateta, headed by Wharton. Good challenge there, Couture, that came across. It'll be a big throw for Palace here, try and launch it into the box. Last chance saloon, Holmesdale Lane supporters, Holmesdale Road supporters behind in the corner. Palace stand, trying to get behind their team. 1-1. This is the last opportunity for them to try and get a winner. Throw comes in by Richards, headed away by Jones. There's a penalty. A push by Botman. A penalty for Crystal Palace. Wowee. In stoppage time, there's a push there on Jefferson Lerma. Andy Madley was right over that and said, right, I'm giving a penalty for him. Murphy goes to have a word with Madley. So does Asula, and Eddie Howe just looks away and says, how can that be? Sven Botman, the culprit, Let's have a look and see. Botman on Lerma. He's got hold of his shirt. Does he push him in the box? It's soft, isn't it? I'm not too sure he does. Let's have a look from the side angle. No, he's not pushed him there. He's had hold of his shirt, but I don't think there's any push really in there. It'll be a VAR check, I'm sure. I've probably been asked to go and have a look at it again, but not for me. But that's not my decision. It's Andy Madlin's. In fact, I think the VAR has been checked. It's going to be a penalty. Jean-Philippe Mateta to take it. Controversy at Sellers Park in the end. Mateta. Jean-Philippe Mateta's Premier League penalty record. 7 out of 7. Hasn't missed one this season. Big chance to win the game for Crystal Palace here. Second yellow card for Ramsdale this season. He's just picked up a knock. Mateta on as a substitute. Steps up right-footed and puts it into the corner past Ramsdale. Close. And Mateta goes into the area and side kicks the corner flag again. But Palace have won the game, you'd say. Controversial penalty given. But Mateta, on as a substitute, bags his second with a crucial penalty into the corner. And Palace have come from behind to win the game at Sellers Park. 90 seconds of additional time to go. Sven Botman's push on Jefferson Lerma, the big talking point in the game. It was a fine penalty, but Ramsdale almost got there, diving to his left, beat the outstretched hand. And Palace are going to win this fixture by 2 goals to 1. My word, how that game's turned around. Mateta is with the goal. Crystal Palace 2, Newcastle United 1. Full time at the City Ground. Finished Nottingham Forest 1, Aston Villa 1. Tottenham remain 1-0 down at Sunderland in stoppage time. 10th Premier League goal this season for Jean-Philippe Mateta. A couple of substitutes, Joran Wisser and Anthony Elanga coming on, but surely it's too late there. Jacob Murphy going off is one of them. Sandro Tonali also going off. But I don't think it's going to make any difference really. Seconds to go. Elanga went for the kick-off. Here's Miley. Murphy and Tonali off. Wisser and Elanga on. Palace making a substitution now. Coming off is Tyreek Mitchell, replaced by number 24, Borna Sosa. For the final few stages, Mitchell walks off. Borna Sosa comes on. Oliver Glasner. So for another win for his Palace team. Borna Sosa's on. Final few stages. Here's Botman. Finds Barnes. Barnes trying to turn between two. Botman has it. Sweeps it across to Thiaw. Thiaw has to go back to Ramsdale. I think Ramsdale's going to have to launch it, and he does, into the corner. Header there, an easy header into touch, but Newcastle have a throw. Moves the ball back to Livramento. Livramento striding down the right-hand side. Cleared away. Here's Mateta. There's a foul there. There's Murphy trying to get in there. Sorry, Ramsey trying to get in there. Crystal Palace 2, Newcastle 1. All eyes on Andy Madley then to blow the whistle. Player of the match, Jean-Philippe Mateta. He came on as sub. Incredible. So he's got 2 goals, that's all. urging the crowd on behind the goal. Here's Sosa with the throw. Down the line. Comes off a green shirt. It's going to be a throw for Newcastle. Right into the corner. Too sure they've got enough time to get it up the other end, to be fair. And now 2.5 minutes over the additional supposed 5. Had the goal and then the substitutions as well. So the throw for Palace here, though. I think that should do it, really. Go down the line. There's Mateta. Now here's Sarr. He's got Kamada in the middle. Sarr keeps going. Right footed strike blocked. Chance to clear. Wharton. Back to Sarr again inside the area. Little chip to the back post. Too deep. Kamada trying to get in there, but it's going to be a goal kick. Last chance to loom now for Newcastle as they launch it over the halfway line. Looking for Ramsey. Here's Wissa. Into the corner. Richards clears down the line. Munoz is there on the stretch, but can't get a great connection, and Newcastle have it again. And there's Ramsey. Ramsey holds off Wharton, goes back to Ramsdale. Again, he's going to have to knock it long. We're 4 minutes over the additional time now. Little flick on, trying to find Voltemada and Wissa. Wissa up against Munoz, and it's going to be out free. Corner kick, is it to Newcastle? Yes, it is. Have they got time to take this, though? That's the big question. Eyes on the referee, as they have been. Ramsdale goes up there as well. Incredible. Right-footed corner kick's going to be delivered here. From Miley to the back post, palmed away by Henderson. That is full time. Victory for Crystal Palace. They've turned it around. They were 1-0 down thanks to a goal by Willisula for Newcastle United on 43 minutes. But then Jean-Philippe Mateta on 80 minutes from a Mitchell cross knocked the ball into the back of the net from the penalty spot after Botmans was judged to have pushed Lerma. He's bagged it from the spot as well. His 10th Premier League goal, and Eddie Howe looks disconsolate as